We are tracking breaking news on the dangerous wildfires burning near Churchill Falls in Labrador. Officials are now evacuating people still in the town after news broke just last hour that one of the fires has jumped the river. That was serving as part of a fire break to keep the town safe. CBC's Peter Cowan is in St. John's with the latest. So, Peter, what does this development mean here, that this fire has jumped the river?
Yeah, this river has really acted as a natural fire break to protect the town of Churchill Falls from this fire that's 1,500 hectares in size. And unfortunately, Mother Nature was not cooperating today. High temperatures into the high 20s, along with low humidity and some winds that are blowing today from the southwest. And so that's fueling the fire, and it actually pushed some of those flames over the river onto the community of Churchill Falls. And because that fire has crossed the river, that's why they are now removing about 100 or so people that were still in the town in order to keep the hydroelectric plant that is there up and running. This is a very important plant, and they just kept sort of a minimal number of people. But now that the fire has crossed the river, they've decided to pull even those essential workers out. And the Premier said just about an hour and a half or so ago that, this fire crossing the river is definitely a big concern for him.
We prayed that the fire would stay on the correct side of the river and that the river would act as a natural fire break. So very concerning, but I think it's premature to say how the fire will behave in what is in a new scenario with an incredible amount of fuel in front of it on the banks of that river.
Over the last few days, they have been doing a number of things to try and protect the community. They've been busy cutting a fire break to try and create that opportunity to stop the fire before it reaches the community. They've also been putting up big industrial sprinklers to try and wet the community down to protect it.
Now, that power plant in the town is important, not just in that area for Labrador, but also for Quebec. And if everyone is being evacuated, does that mean all of the staff who were left there? I know it was a reduced number of staff who were still operating the plant there, but does that mean they're leaving as well?
Yeah, I was just talking to hydro officials, and they said, yes, everyone is going to go, but they are going to sort of do it in phases, with the most essential people being the last ones to get out of town. They've been preparing for this, so they actually shut down a lot of the operations in the plant. They've reduced it to sort of the minimal power output that the plant can produce, which means the power that normally flows to Quebec's getting a lot less power. And this is a 1960s plant. It was not designed to be operated remotely, but over the last few days, they've been doing things to try and set up some remote operations and monitoring. So that's what they're going to do. So they will be able to continue to provide power to the communities in Labrador and some power to Quebec. But they said today they are working on some backup plans. So even if that plant goes offline completely, they're still able to keep the lights on for people in Labrador and beyond.
That's really interesting context there, Peter, in terms of the lack of remote capabilities, and also interesting just how quickly things can change. Peter, thanks so much for the latest on this. That's CBC's Peter Cowan in St. John's.